I never thought of my work as being an autobiography. I just thought of it as being paintings of things that I, for some reason or other, found erotically necessary to have forever. And I hoped that I could bring that erotic charge to the paintings. I don't think I always did, but that's not the point. I wanted to remember that. It was a love affair with vision, a real love affair with vision. C.S. Lewis calls it surprised by joy, and it sounds nicer that way, but I just consider it a punch in the gut, and it was amazing. And after that, it was as if all the windows and doors opened, and there were images everywhere that just ground themselves into me. I just had to paint them. It wasn't a matter of having to save them exactly. It was a matter of having to be them, to become the image. There's no doubt that I came from a house that was riddled with red carpets, and a belief in red somehow or other. My mother used to be a painter, and of course a cook, so on. And she said, "Isn't it always so wonderful to put a cherry on at the end? Because it's so beautiful and it makes the point. It's red, it's beautiful." And of course the jelly that we had was usually red, and it would sit in a place of honor on the table at Thanksgiving and at Christmas. My mother said, it was best to leave the red till last. Leave the best till last. Red is a wonderful color, but red is not an easy color to paint. You have to use many colors to make red. You know, you just can't, well, you can, of course, pour it out of a tube and it's fine, but not for me. It takes purple and orange and all kinds of things to give it body and to give it panache. And I love working with red, and I don't know that I always did, but as I've gotten older, I do it more and more, don't I? This is true. Probably Red Currant Jelly is the first painting where I really used red. And it wasn't easy. I found it a very difficult color because it has to do so much. It isn't just a color. You know, it's an emotion, and and it had to be clear. Now, how do you make a clear red? How do you make a red that looks as if you can look through it? Well, I didn't know how. So I had to depend on the photography to teach me. And it did, I think. I did it in a defiance, in a way, of people who I really considered to be smarter than I was. So it was a brave little painting. And of course it was little because in those days it was very early painting. It was little because I didn't have much time to do any painting. And I had to work it into a time slot that I could allow myself. But it was done in an outside studio. It wasn't done in the house. So it was done in one of the first paintings done outside the house. The sun was coming through the window, and it was just so beautiful. And I hadn't photographed jelly before, but it was just so gorgeous. I just had to photograph it. And of course, the plate in the background that was full of the fuzz stuff that you take off, that you skim off, I thought to move it because it didn't look as beautiful as the jelly. And I thought, no, we need this counterpoint. We need the counterpoint of process. And so I'll leave it there. And when I got the slides back and so on, I was I was really happy with them. My process really is kind of in stages. I see something that grabs me, and I do the photography. That's the first thing. It gets sent off to Toronto or wherever to be processed. And then when all of these slides come back, I've forgotten that first jab of enthusiasm. And so I spread them out on a light board to have a look at them, to see if there's anything there that I remember. Is there anything that's going to make me feel like that again? Sometimes there isn't. Sometimes it was just a total waste of time. And not only that, but because I've taken quite a few slides, which slide will it be? And so I have the opportunity again to decide what to do with this whole thing. And that's kind of exciting because you hope that, you can only hope that the slides that you've taken will remind you of that moment when you thought the whole thing was going to be worthwhile and that you were going to do something wonderful. And with the jellies, I guess I didn't have too much trouble. I don't think they were all of equal value. I can't remember now because I haven't seen them, but not lately. So I don't remember what I thought, but certainly I must have been taken with the one I settled on. And perhaps that's how I saw it first. I can't remember, I'm not sure. Such a long time ago now. The painting began in the world. But if you were me and you were doing the painting, if you were painting this, for instance, or this glass, there's all kinds of amazing stuff going on in here. And you use your brush to kind of get into these little cracks and crevices, and you can actually feel them as you go along. This isn't just something you paint flat. This is something that your brush finds. You have the photograph to guide you, but it doesn't say it all. And, there may be a little bit of red right there from where I am. It does. There's a tiny bit of pink there, picking it up from here, I suppose. And there are all these little gems of reality there that, you could dismiss them and just sort of draw around that sort of lotus shape. But that would be unfortunate because there are so many little tiny truths in there. And these little tiny truths, so what? So what? They're just pictures, I suppose. But for the painter, or for me, they're just wonderful places to get your pencil or get your brush and find them and to sculpt them. Because it isn't just a matter of painting it, it's a matter of making it. You make it. Well, I think with my work, even things that are ordinary are not ordinary. Because I don't really believe that anything's ordinary. I think everything is complex and worthy of conjecture and worthy of a look, worthy of a close look. But that's just me. I tend to be a bit weird. But I really believe that everything is worth thinking about. But I believe that just stuff informed you and that you could imagine the secrets of the universe by looking at a pile of grapes. I would like them to be as happy about the paintings as I am, because I just love my work, which is sort of an embarrassing thing to say, but I do. I love my work. And I suppose I'd like them to love it too. Not all of them are lovable, but nevertheless. I know that from letters I've had from people and so on who have said that they felt that they were housewives and were being forgotten and so on, but that the show had given them a lot of encouragement to persist in the work that they were doing in their homes, and that it made them feel a little more like heroes than they had thought before. And that pleased me.